Welcome back to Soft, Quiet, Slow. Today I just wanted to share a video about my last meditation, which was a meditation for peace. And in that meditation I spoke about turning away from fear and towards peace, and how that is the most powerful action that we can take when it comes to not only finding inner peace but also creating peace in the outside world as well. So I just want to elaborate a little bit more on what that looks like practically. The first thing that I want to talk about is this distinction between seeking outside and searching inside. So seeking outside is not always very effective, because when we do that we rely on people and circumstances to help us. So we give our power away to them. For example, if we want our lives to be more peaceful and we seek outside for that peace, then we might find ourselves waiting for things to change, and that can be really frustrating. It can also create a cycle where we're constantly waiting, and anyone who's experienced that will know that it tends to make our inner world feel even more chaotic and not really help. Of course, looking outside and finding things to be grateful for, trying to look for peaceful moments in daily life, of course this can help and it's a great thing to do, but because we're all humans, we have some days where we're not able to do that so much. We might be in a bad mood, or maybe something has happened that's triggered us. So seeking outside is wonderful, but it's not a reliable way in which we can produce peace in our lives. So that's why I talk about going inside, and I say that going inside is the only way to really move against fear. And I say that it's the only way, but what I mean is that it's the most reliable way. So when we have the habit of seeking outside for peace, so trying to notice little peaceful moments, or trying to maybe wait for things to change and be positive, this can make our inner world feel a bit chaotic. So if seeking outside is something that you've been doing a lot of, then the first time you try to go inside and seek peace, it may not seem that convincing. But this is why meditation, in my view, is such a great practice. There are other things you can do to find that peace within. So some people do mundane activities, or they create, or they get into a state of flow, and this can also be really effective. But meditation is the main tool that I use, so I'm going to talk about that. So when we turn inside, we can really notice that in our inner world there's silence and there's stillness. So a lot of people might find this frustrating at first, because when we feel like there's so much chaos going on inside of us because of what's going on outside of us, we might seek answers to our questions about life, about why things are the way they are, or why humans are the way they are. And you might notice that all you get in response is silence, and that can be really frustrating at first. But this silence is actually the peace within. The stillness is the peace within. And when we're able to, or if we're open to changing our perception, rather than trying to seek answers, but rather seeing that stillness and that silence as a symbol of peace, or as a kind of refuge that we can go into, and we can immerse ourselves in. And when we do this enough times, we can start to realize that we can use this peace to be reflected in our outside world as well. So this is what I mean by going inside versus going outside. And when I say to turn away from fear and towards peace, I don't necessarily mean in the outside world, but rather in our inner world. So in our inner world, as I said, it might feel a bit chaotic, and this is because of all the thoughts, all the memories, all the emotions that we have. And this is why turning away from the fear that we have on the inside of us, so the fearful thoughts, the kind of heavy emotions that make us feel afraid, the memories that maybe bring us fear, turning away from them and towards peace, so towards that stillness, towards that silence. That's really the exercise that I was trying to explain in the meditation. And it can be really difficult for some people to do that. First of all, because fear is, as I said, quite a seductive emotion. So if someone provokes us or triggers us by doing something that we think is wrong, it's completely natural to have the response that we want to do something as a reaction to what's been done unfairly, or what's been said unfairly. And this emotion is really, or this reaction is really driven by fear, because we feel that we need to react in order for things to be right again, when in fact that's not always the case. So that can be really hard for some people to hear. And it's just something that each of us have a journey that we need to go through when it comes to reacting. So it may feel really good to react, and of course we can end up doing really good things for others and good things for ourselves by reacting with fear sometimes. But that a feeling is normally quite short-lived, because when we react with fear, we're still drawn into the fear, we're still drawn into the circumstance and drawn into the situation, and we're not stepping outside of it. When we choose to step away from fear, something that I don't hear talked about a lot, but I'm sure that a lot of people talk about this. When we first choose to do that, sometimes we can feel guilt or shame, because we feel like we should be doing something and we're not. I know that this has been my experience firsthand, but that's just another trick or another mechanism to keep us drawn into fear. So there's nothing wrong with taking a bit of time, 5 minutes, to sit with our thoughts, to observe them. And if we observe a fearful thought, to turn away from it. And if we feel guilt or we feel shame, to sit with that and observe that, and then turn away from that as well. And of course, in both cases, turn towards peace. So this can feel really frustrating, because it's not a one and done. It's kind of a repetitive process. So I think when we're able to accept that it's not necessarily a one and done, that it's a practice, it's a process, then that can make it a little less frustrating. So this is quite a challenging thing to do, especially if you're someone who has really been affected by fear for a long time. So the key is to really be kind to ourselves, because I think the fact that we're even able to be aware is actually such a huge thing that we don't appreciate enough when it comes to appreciating ourselves and the little things that we do, the little actions we take. So it's really about exercising a bit of self-kindness when it comes to meditation and to the feelings that we have that relate to fear. So that's a little elaboration on what I wanted to talk about in the meditation that I posted earlier this week. And I'd really like to finish with a little activity. So meditation can feel a bit abstract because we're just sitting there and not really doing anything. Some people really need to hold on to that activity in order to feel the shift within themselves. So I have an activity which I often recommend in my coaching, and it's the write the next thought or wait for the next thought activity. So you can sit down with a pen and paper, or perhaps with a laptop, anything that you can write on, and set a period of time for yourself to sit down. So it might be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, it doesn't matter. 5 minutes is enough. And sit there and just wait for the next thought to come into your mind. And when you have that thought, write it down. Don't judge it, and don't follow through with it either. So once you write it down, let it go, and then sit and wait again for the next thought. Now, you might get lost in thoughts, of course, even in this exercise, because the thought might be important. For example, you might think of something that you forgot to do that's really important. So you might be tempted to step away from your laptop or from your pen and paper. So I ask you to please don't do that, because it's only 5 minutes. So that's why we set a short period of time. Rather, as soon as you finish writing down the thought, drop it and wait for the next thought. Do this until the 5 minutes is up, and then whenever you have a moment, so right after the 5 minutes is the best, of course, have a look at what thoughts have gone through your mind, and notice that every time you dropped the thought, that was you turning away from fear, potentially, if it was a fearful thought, and moving towards peace. So you were dropping the thought and you were moving towards silence again. So that idea of waiting for the next thought is silence. So this is just an activity to help you see practically how you can turn away from fear and towards peace. But it's just an activity, of course, so it's something that you can use. It's another tool that you can use to help you practice this turning away from fear in more areas of your life. So I hope that was helpful, and I will be doing more videos like this, just gently talking about the concepts that I go over in meditations. It's not meant to be something overwhelming, so it's just a gentle reminder of what I believe. Of course, it's there for you to accept or to disagree with as well. You're more than welcome to do that. You can put a comment down below if you have found this useful, or if you have any other questions. And I will be posting another meditation very soon. please let me know if there's any topics that you'd like me to cover. But otherwise, I really appreciate everyone who watches this channel. Thank you so much. And it really motivates me to continue making this content, and hopefully to give you a quiet little corner, little refuge of YouTube for you to feel that you can be silent in, and you can be still, and you can be relaxed, and you can be focused as well. All right, thank you so much for listening once again, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.